love you guys. Dance off, bro. I have the high ground. Expecto Patronum! 39 days. What people want. Survive.
On the Tribe of Nerds.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Matt, Michael, and I are here for another Survivor interview, going back to Survivor UK. Now we're talking to Pegleg from Survivor UK. Welcome to Tribe of Nerds, Pegleg.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for asking me to sort of come on and have a bit of a chat.
Yeah, very excited to talk to you about your experience, because we've talked to Doug, Chris, and Matthew, so it'll be interesting to get your perspective now.
Yeah, I've watched all three of them. Yeah, great interviews.
Yeah, thank you. Well, to get this started, so when did you start watching Survivor and how did you get on the show?
I'm similar to Doug. Obviously, being the oldest one that was on there, I actually remembered the original Survivor UK from 2001. And then, yeah, I was literally just scrolling through social media as you do, and kind of it popped up. Oh, you're a Survivor, and kind of, well, it's BBC, looks like it's legit. Clicked on it, had a read, sent it over to my missus and went, what do you think on this? And she was like, oh yeah, I've seen that as well, and thought, it's so you, why don't you go for it? I was like, right, okay, yeah, cool. So that was it. Filled out the form, sent it off, forgot about it for a couple of days, got a phone call, had a chat, and got the kind of, the bulk standard, if you don't hear from us, then, just forget it. So, yeah, whatever. Carried on with life. Another phone call a couple of days later. Then another one. And then I got one and they kind of went, do you want to come up to London and sit down and have a kind of face-to-face chat? I was like, yeah, why not? So I got in a surf instructor to cover the lessons at the surf school. Went up, stayed overnight, kind of had the interview. Well, if you don't hear from us, I was like, okay, yeah, that's it, it's all done. But yeah, a few days later, do you want to come back up London again and have another chat? I was like, yeah, all right. And that went on for a couple of weeks. And I was just like backwards and forwards. I was like, oh, bloody hell, I'm in Cornwall. It's like a 6-hour journey all the way. So yeah, okay, right. And then, yeah, right, come up, last one, interviewed the executive producers. Right, cool, yeah. Went up, had that, and then got invited to do a physical and a psych test, which I was a bit worried about. Oh, okay. Physical, I was like, yeah. And yeah, went up, did that, got a phone call, right, you're flying 5 days.
Oh, wow.
I was like, whoa, wow. Because I got onto one of the very last interviews. So it was all kind of like very last minute. And yeah, just like phone call, right, you got 5 days, get packed. Okay, well, what am I packing? And I just got a list of, right, bring this colour, bring that colour, and just bring as much of it as you can. And we'll decide kind of like what's going to fit for each tribe once you actually get here. Right, okay. So I just chucked everything in a bag and jumped on a plane.
Yeah, that's crazy, like how lengthy like the audition process is, from like talking to a bunch of you from the show, is like, as fans we get to actually hear like how that goes. So
yeah, so like I said, it was the actual interview process was, it was spaced over kind of, a month and a half, 2 months. But then it was just that last, for me, it was just like, yeah, right, bang, you're in 5 days. Like,
right.
Let's do this, And then I've sort of said to Annie, my missus, kind of, they want me to go in 5 days. So, well, you're in, let's do it, go for it. Yeah.
So you only had 5 days to prep, but did you do anything mentally to prepare or not?
So after kind of the first and second ones, kind of in my head, it was like, well, there's a possibility. In my head, I ticked quite a few boxes for them. So I actually put together a couple of challenges in the back garden and kind of started getting myself prepared for bits and pieces, and sort of I was throwing things at stuff and throwing things into buckets and from the end of the garden and kind of training myself, I suppose, as it were, that way. I set up a big weight as well on a pulley, and I'd stand there kind of holding it.
Oh, wow.
For as long as I could, stuff like that, and trying to get rid of, ready for different challenges in that way. And then doing everyday life, because I'm a very active person.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a very active hands-on job anyway, so I hold a level of fitness. And then through my surfing as well, I now basically just upped my training a little bit to kind of make sure I was fit enough for it.
So you get out there on the shore and the first challenge takes place on the barge. So how was it getting thrown into the action there?
That was great because I was looking, we're on the boat and I'm looking going, well, I know I can swim that far, no problem. Because I'm actually a qualified lifeguard as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. So I was like, well, I know I can make that. I wasn't sure about everyone around me. So it's just like, well, there's a load of us. We're going to make it to the beach. Kind of, let's go. And then Joe was like, right, you're off. Go for it. And it's just like, right, grab what we can, chuck it over. I'm not sure if this was done on purpose or not, but something that was picked up on was the other tribe were actually chucking stuff into our raft.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. And it was a bit like, okay, we're not going to say anything because we've got a load of stuff. But then, as you've seen from the show, we were left way behind because it was so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that was a tactic on their part or not, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It may well have been. But anyway, so we managed to get to the beach eventually. And yeah, but I was in the ocean, so I was stoked. So I was happy, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's
backfired
on them because you won that challenge. So
yeah, that's true.
they added stuff to your...
As you guys know from the start, we were way behind in the water. And I was trying to work it out because we had some strong swimmers with us. I'm like, this thing's just not moving. And they were literally going like a motorboat. Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, you are on the Lenana tribe. And so what were the early dynamics like on Lenana from your perspective?
That first day, we were all there just sussing each other out and focusing on camp. We were living a life of luxury, because we had won everything. It was easy street for us, really. And it was just like, right, okay, what are we going to do? Everyone's got jobs. You guys are doing the bed. Myself and Sabrina was like, right, okay, we'll get a fire going. Because we don't need that many people doing that. So we'll do that. You guys can go, a couple of you go and get water and collect stuff. And yeah, it was just sussing people out and sort of seeing who you were going to gel with, who you weren't. It was, a learning curve, should we say.
Yeah.
So you go to your first tribal council in episode 2, and it ends up being Sabrina going in a bit of a blindside. You vote for Rach on that episode. So kind of what went into that first tribal council, and were you surprised when Sabrina was the first one to go?
Very, yeah. That was a Doug flip on us. Yeah, myself and Lee were adamant we wanted to keep Sabrina in at the beginning. We wanted to keep that tribe strong. And we knew Sabrina was going to be a strong contender in a lot of the challenges. And we wanted to keep her in there for that reason. Obviously, Doug had already been chatting to people and they'd got into his head and he decided to flip. And myself and Lee had no idea whatsoever. It was one of those, it didn't make the edit. It was one of those, it happened. And me and Lee, the look between us was just like, what? And I just looked and I went, oh. It's like Doug has flipped on us. Yeah.
Should have been in. We love a good blindside reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it wasn't staged or anything. It was 100%. Whoa, no way. Yeah.
So Ring goes to the outpost and comes back with a fish and then the whole story. Did you realize that they were hiding something from the beginning or not?
When Ren come back with that fish, because I'm actually a qualified chef as well, and I just looked at it and I went, "That's a small bream for a lot of us. that's not going around." And everyone's like, "Oh, where are we going to cook it? It's just going to fall apart." So I was like, "Well, okay, right. Well, I can sort that out. Don't worry about that." But I was looking, thinking, "That's a small fish." Myself and Lee kind of got together and had a chat, and was just like, there's something not right here. There's something going on. No, there's no way that was it. There's got to have been more to it. She's walked away with something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
that kind of like set them on a bad path. It was the distrust immediately from that was something that was long lasting with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, once that kind of that seed of thought and that mistrust had been kind of put in there, it was all like, I can't trust her. And she, at the beginning, she's trying to play it down about kind of Survivor and how much she's seen, but then all of a sudden little bits would come in and she go, oh yeah, and on episode of this season, this happened. And we're sort of, but you're the one that hasn't seen that much of it. And you're like now trying to quote episodes and kind of seasons to us. Yeah, things aren't really adding up here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like sometimes us Survivor fans, like we have different lingo than other people are used to when they're not as big of a fan.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So Leilani ends up coming over to Lynetta in episode 4. So what was your reaction to Leilani swapping over?
She turned. It must have been, I'm guessing 2:30 in the morning, something like that. She turns up, so we are all standby. We're out,
Mhm.
and there's this little shake of the bed, and it's kind of like, "Hi guys, I'm here. Is any chance, any room I can get in?" It was just like, "What? Where do you come from? What's going on?" And she's like, "Oh, I'll tell you all in the morning. Any chance I can squeeze in?" And I'm going, "Well, she's a little one, so yeah, managed to make some room." And I didn't get a lot of sleep after that, to be honest. I just sort of laying there going, okay, right, what's going on? Why is she here? What's happened? Is she here literally just to sabotage us, or have they kicked her out? It's just like, I've got no idea what's going on here. Yeah.
Sorry, bad time to take a drink there. So we get to the next big moment of the season where you, Doug, and Hannah go to the summit, and it's announced that there's going to be a tribe swap. So what went into the decision there of swapping over to the other tribe was Doug?
Well, this didn't get shown on the show, but myself and Hannah had an alliance from day 2. I don't know whether it was that far under the radar that production would pick up on it. I don't know. But myself and Hannah had a real strong alliance right from day 2. That was it. And we were laying seeds of thought here, there, and everywhere around camp. It was, we were doing a lot of backseat driving, should we say? So we didn't know what was going to happen. We had no idea. No, I didn't. I didn't even assume that it'd be a tribe swap. But when it came out, we get there, we're going, right, okay, this is what's happening. In my head, I'm thinking, I want Hannah over there.
Mm-hmm.
Me over here. I wanted to keep our alliance really strong, but I wanted her to be there doing her thing and me over there doing my things, kind of thing. And then get to the merge, we come back together. That was, in my head, that's the plan. Obviously, Doug's there. Myself and Hannah can't talk about this, but we're kind of looking at each other going, right, okay. So, yeah, right. And so I then went, right, I'm going to put myself forward. Hannah genuinely didn't think that she would last if she did go over there. And just through watching challenges and the body language with Shy and the others, we could tell that he was really rubbing people up the wrong way. That's why myself and Doug were kind of going, well, do you think we're strong enough to get him out? He's a strong contender. He's a fan. He's a super fan. He knows what's going on. Mm-hmm. That's someone we really want gone now before merge. Are we strong enough to do it? And I'm looking at Hannah, sort of pointing to myself, going, I'm going. And she's like, yeah, cool. Yeah, no worries. So, yeah, and that's how it all kind of came about. And we went, right, myself and Doug, that's it. The duo are going over and we're just going to blow it up. Yeah.
You absolutely did that.
Yeah, you did.
I'm quite proud of the way we did that.
Yeah.
Went into the game wanting to play the game, and when that opportunity came up as well, I really wanted to do it. I didn't want to be a goat. I wanted to go in there. I wanted to take as much out of it as I could. Mm-hmm. And doing a trial, obviously, So even if I do disappear, I put myself forward and I went for it, and I really wanted to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's tough sometimes when you get swapped into a minority. Like, some people aren't able to recover from that, and you and Doug were able to recover from that brilliantly.
Cool. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So what was your relationship with Doug like, especially after he told you about his idol?
Myself and Doug were close, from the start. The idol thing was a bit of a bombshell because we had kind of agreed that should we find one, we, whether it was on our own or whether it was together, we would let each other know so we could use it kind of between us. And then, obviously watching it back and the way he did it, I mean, total respect to the guy, he was in the game 100%, but just the way he plonked his butt down on that tree. And I'd already said to him, I'm going to have to trust you with this because I'm wearing shorts and that's it. I've got nowhere to hide it. And but the way he plonked his butt down on that tree, watching it back now, it's like, hey, fair play, buddy. Yeah. You nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right under your nose.
That trust. And then there was the flip right at the beginning as well with Sabrina. That had always been niggling away in the back of my head. And then there was him doing that. And when he kind of fessed up to it, I was like, right, that's it. I know that I can't trust you. And a lot of my confessionals as well were kind of saying that, which you don't see all of it in the show. It's like, my trust in Doug is kind of like really has gone. The only person I had 100% faith in was Hannah. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and so you're on the Calaton tribe, and to get things to flip, I mean, how confident were you that Shy and Lawrence were going to be voting with you and Doug to get rid of Jess at that first tribal council that you guys went to over there?
So when we got there, my mission and my focus was to get Shy out. That was it. And I wanted me and Doug to go in there, convince someone, come with us, get rid of Shy, do that. Doug wasn't too keen on the idea. And he's like, well, we've just come in. We need to kind of like just keep our heads down. Let's kind of, play it nice and safe, just so we get someone out. Let's not focus on anyone, da-di-da. So for me, the Jess vote was actually survival. I wanted to go Shy, but I didn't want anyone to back me up on it. I thought the quicker we got him out, the better. And I wasn't going to be gunning for Jess. But, when you're there, you've got to change, with the circumstances. And that's exactly what I had to do. It was survival for me. I had to go with Doug because he was going with the others and going for Jess. So I got, well, there you go. And you don't see it on the confessional. That's what I wrote. I wrote a name down, and when I held it up, I went, Jess, I'm sorry. This is survival for me. I've got to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the minority, beggars can't be choosers. Any name that's not you guys is fine.
Exactly.
So you then lose the next challenge in very quick succession. It was the When It Rains challenge. And at this point, you're kind of in the perfect middle position where you could side with Lawrence and Shy to take out Nathan, or side with Nathan to take out Shy. You end up going with Shy. So what went into that decision?
You can imagine myself turning up to that challenge and I see a very small balance beam. And I'm like, I'm not going to last long on this. One-legged guy stood on a piece of what looked like railway track, about that long. So I'm gone. Yeah, I'm out of here. But my mission was not to be the first, and I wasn't. So I was quite happy about that. But anyway, so we crashed and burned quite spectacularly on that one. Afterwards, we're back in camp, obviously all talking, having a little walk past, a couple of words, chats, so we don't get seen. And Nathan basically come past me, and because of the blind side on Jess, which is like, what you do is your business. But no matter what, my vote is going on Shy. That's it. And I kind of went, okay, right, cool. I'm in the same ballpark as you. That's where I want to go. So I go over, have a chat with Doug and went, look, this is the deal. And I trust him 100%. He's not going to be one of us going. He's after him. He's gunning for him. We can do this. And he's gone.
Yep.
And Doug was like, well, as long as you're on, I was like, yeah, I'm 100%. That's it. Let's do it. And it was obviously at that time we were getting really close to merge. I knew it was coming. And it was like, we've got to get rid of him before merge. If we don't, he's going to start, spreading out, making new alliances. He's going to be harder. We've got to get rid of him now. And Doug agreed. And he was like, yeah, okay, right, let's go for it. And it all paid off. Yeah. And Peg was happy.
Absolutely.
So then the merge happens, and there are now 11 people on the same beach. How is it to navigate that many different people?
It was interesting. Yeah. So I don't know if you picked up on it, but when we do the merge, we're like, bang, this merge, the hug between me and Hannah went on a lot longer than it should have without letting people know that we were that close. I think everybody kind of went, they really missed each other. So they were, and that's where people started to realise just how strong an alliance we had.
Mm-hmm.
And that started causing a few problems later on. So yeah, obviously at the time it's all hunky-dory and we're all great. Oh, wow, one big tribe is merged. And yeah, sort of in my head, it's like, right, this is where the game really kicks in. I set myself benchmarks. So rather than going in with a very strategic plan from start to finish, it was like, don't be the first one voted out. I wasn't. Right, make it to merge. I just have, right, now it's the long game. Now it's heading for the end. Excuse me. So that was it. So yeah, me and Hannah have the big hug. We get back to the beach, and you can already see people start splitting off again. So Callum's trying to come back together, and Lena come back together, and Lee's there going, "Oh my God, you don't know what you've missed. It's been horrendous." And he starts bringing us up to speed. We're bringing him up to speed on everybody over there, and we're all saying, right, it's an individual game now, no tribe lines. But straight away, you could see they started forming. And everyone's going back to their old alliances, and which is what happens when you do. So yeah, basically that first day and night back at camp was just getting up to speed on everything that had happened and why it happened, and Chris and Ashley kind of assuming that they were running the tribe and all this sort of business that had been going on. And yeah, it was just basically getting a rundown of everything and trying to fit everybody on the bed, which was a nightmare. It wasn't going to happen. It was a bit cozy when we tried. Yeah.
So arriving back onto All One Beach, you're reunited with your old mate Chris. We see that you have a bit of a fractured relationship with him across the season, kind of ups and downs. So what was that relationship like with Chris?
What was it like? I like Chris. No, I do. As a person, I like Chris. He's very funny. He's got a great sense of humour. At the beginning, yes, we did get on. Me personally, I didn't like the way his game went and the way he played the game. There were, some of the things that were going on, especially towards Lee and the whole boys' club thing, which didn't exist basically. Lee was about keeping the tribe strong, not about keeping the boys in. It was, but it's a good storyline. So that's how it got aired. But yeah, and what I didn't like was that's the kind of thing you label someone like that actually follows them into their life, and with the edit as well. Lee got a lot of hate off of that, which wasn't deserved because that's not Lee. So yeah, and I could see it going that way with the whole boys' club thing and the way Chris was saying stuff to people, and kind of he wants to get all the girls out. And I'm going, well, it's not true. He wanted to keep Sabrina in. He was really close with Hannah as well. He wanted Hannah in right to the end, and it wasn't. It was just about it's Lee. He's a professional sportsman. He wants to keep everybody strong in the tribe. As a tribe, we win. We don't have to vote somebody out. Mm-hmm. That's what it was all about. Yeah. And then with the individual stuff, it was like, you're looking at your own game then, you're getting rid of people, but obviously you've got strong alliances, but there was never a male-female thing as far as I'm concerned coming in from me. Yeah. So anyway, that affected the way I started to look at Chris. But hey, he played the game and he did well. The guy's got more lives than a cat. He brought himself back from the pool. So often, and you can't not have respect for that. You know, he smashed it. You know, at one point or another, we all tried to get him out. We all tried to get him gone, and he never went. So, you know, I can't not have respect for that kind of play. He worked it, and he worked hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy's a cockroach.
So at this merge vote, Lenana splits apart, and this ends up coming down to Lee or Ashley. And why did you think it was better for Ashley to go over Lee?
I knew that having Lee behind me, we could carry each other through a lot further. Ashley and Chris were real tight. They needed splitting up. You know, because they were driving a lot of stuff that was going on at the beginning before Tanuka and Nathan kind of took over. They were driving a lot of stuff, and they needed to be separated. Lee's got my back. Ashley got Chris's back. It's like, well, you know, who are we going to go? You know, I'll go for one or the other. I don't care. Let's just go one or the other. And that's the way the vote ended up. And everyone's like, right, well, we'll go for Ashley. I was like, yeah, cool. Yeah, no worries with that. Just get them apart.
So then you take part in one of the most iconic Survivor challenges in Last Gasp, which you win, and you have that lovely moment with Matthew where you're congratulating him on lasting in there with you, being so comfortable in the water as you are. So how was that challenge for you?
That challenge actually threw a bit of a spanner in the works, because we had a plan in place that I was going to put myself up as bait.
Yeah.
And then we're walking along the beach towards it. Obviously, you know, I've seen it. I'm not a mega fan, but, you know, I've seen quite a lot of series. I see it, and I know exactly what it is. It's in the ocean. I'm just there sort of trying to whisper to everyone, guys, I can't throw this. There's no way I can throw this challenge. I will not be able to walk through the village back home with my head held high if I do not win this. That's it. I can't do it. And it's like, right, we'll get another plan together, whatever. I walked in. I knew I don't want to be big-headed or brag about it, but it was mine for the taking. I knew that. The ocean's my home. You know, it's where I live. I mean, if I'm in the swimming pool, I can hold my breath for 4 minutes. So being in the ocean, in the ocean with swell coming, I know I'm getting a breather, so I can lay there for. Well, there was one point, I think it was about 2 minutes. In the edit, Joel going, Pegleg's still holding his breath. Because I was under there for quite a while until the next bit of swell came over and I displaced them. But as far as Matthew goes, respect to the guy. You know, he was in there to the end with me. With the way the tide was rising, the cage was as low as it'd go. But with the speed the tide was coming in, I reckon I may have had another 20 minutes. Just getting in the goal.
Wow.
I mean, when I first come out, I say to Matthew, I had another hour in me. That was me messing around. There's no way I had another hour in me. I haven't got them yet. They're coming, but I haven't got them yet. With the way the tide was rising, I reckon maybe 20 minutes, get off it, just like go, coming. But no, respect. The guy lasted an hour and a half, you know, no training, no nothing, pure determination. So, yeah, total respect. And I felt like I needed to show him that as well at the time when we was at Tribal. No, I wouldn't just go, oh, yeah, I won. Oh, it's all about me. He's like, no, the guy smashed it. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, that was a really nice moment between the two of you at Tribal. I'm glad that made it in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so am I. Yeah, because he deserved it, you know.
Speaking of Tribal, the next Tribal happens, and Doug is blindsided in one of the big moves of the season. What was your reaction to it, and how were you able to adapt afterwards?
Right, yeah. So obviously, I've watched Chris's interview on this with you guys, and he says about warning Doug, and he did. He came up to us and he was like, Doug, they're gunning for you. I'm going to put this fake eyeball together and, you know, we can get a plan. We can keep you in and the rest of it. And we're like, oh, right, okay, yeah, sounds like a good idea. And, you know, Chris goes off and Doug's like, what do you think? And I went, mate, it's Chris. He's squirming. I think he's talking a load of rubbish. I don't believe a word the guy says. He's just looking after himself. He's got his own back. I don't think you've got any problems. I think you're going to be fine. And Doug's like, oh yeah, but I might be putting myself in a position. I'm like, no, seriously, mate, he's not. Yeah, you're fine. You're going to be okay. And then, we rock up to tribal and Doug goes, and I'm just there. Oh my God. I convinced Doug not to do anything about it. Sorry, mate.
It's so unfortunate. It's like you hear things and then you're like second guessing if you should do anything about it, or like, but then you're like, no, let's just put our trust in these people. And
it's Chris being Chris, trying to cover his back. But then that evening after Doug's gone, it wasn't. It was the next morning. Myself and Chris are sat around the fire.
Mm-hmm.
The others are all still sleeping, and Chris is like, I warned him. I tried to warn him. Why didn't he listen to me? So I said to Chris, have you ever heard the story of the boy that cried wolf? Nobody believes the words you say. And that was my exact words to him. I was like, no one believes the words you say. You are the boy that cries wolf. That's it. And you see his face kind of went, it was a kind of an acknowledgement. It kind of went, okay, I understand what you're saying, but I wasn't on that occasion. It's like, no, I'm not on that one.
Yeah, but how are you meant to tell the difference? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So moving on from the Doug vote, we end up with the biggest move of the season, where Queen Tanuki gets taken out. And what went into that decision, and why was it time to break up King Tanuki and Queen Nathan?
Queen Nathan.
I realized I said that wrong.
You reversed it.
I reversed it. It's all good. Leave it in. It's funny.
Nathan will love it. It'd be cool. So I've already mentioned about myself and Hannah. Now, there's a lot of people taking credit for this this vote, this blindside. So myself and Hannah had been having our chats, having our talks, and we're like, look, those two are the power couple. They're running this. We need to get them apart. So we have a chat with Chris, because we know Chris is getting really close to Matthew, and then Lawrence is in on that as well. But Chris and Matthew are getting really close, and like, look, Chris, we need to get Matthew on board. We need to split him up. We've got to get rid of one of them. Ideally, it's Tanuki. We need to do this. We need you to convince him.
Mm-hmm.
Go have a chat. So you do. Yeah, Chris, and I said to him, what we do, go over, you have a chat, all the rest of it. And then, kind of I'll come over and try and get you in the chat, and, and then we'll work on it together. Yeah, okay, right. So he goes over, he's chatting to him. And then kind of I walk in, and Matthew goes, oh, what do you think about this whole kind of like Tanuki thing? So I'm just like, well, it's Queen T and a lapdog. They're running the show. They're making all the decisions. And you're not kind of doing anything yourself. You're just following them, and you're going to be on the chopping block at some point. It's whether you want it sooner or later. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm not sure. I'm like, well, mate, I can't tell you what to do, but I'm telling you what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So between myself, Hannah, and Chris, it was kind of a flip on getting Matthew to flip. But it was myself and Hannah that laid those seeds of thought with Chris, and then kind of got him involved and said, look, if you flip him, then we can get this done and we can, sort it all out. And then, and obviously with the edit, because the edit's the edit, it kind of doesn't show that. But it didn't show anything of mine and Hannah's alliance, I think, until we go and do the spa day. And there's one comment where we're like, we've been together since day 2 and we're smashing it. And that's kind of all that got shown of it, which I found personally a little bit strange. Yeah. We were there sort of driving from the back. Yeah.
Yeah, especially as like we get to the end, like you do see a bit of your relationship, but it would have been more interesting to see that journey that you guys took throughout. So yeah,
right from day 2. It was just like we were like that. We were so close. We have very similar personalities. I mean, I've got a daughter the same age as Hannah as well, and it's kind of like, I'm not saying it was a father-daughter thing, but kind of, I don't know, we just related to each other really well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the next couple votes after Tanuke is overthrown are Lawrence and Nathan. So like walk us through like why those were the two most logical choices to go next.
We want to keep as many as the OG Lennon in. That was it.
Right.
Right. Let's go. Yeah. Nathan, obviously, challenge wise and strength wise, was just a beast.
Yeah.
So we want to keep as much of the immunity idols kind of from around his neck or the necklaces. We don't want him getting them.
Right.
Just he's the beast. When it comes down to the strength stuff, okay, put me in the ocean, but you put me against him strength wise, then I don't stand a chance. So him gone. Then at the time, Matthew wasn't even on my radar. He wasn't, and I was going, right, who's playing the game well here? And I thought Lawrence was kind of doing a really good under the radar thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just ponies, carrots. And it's just like, okay, Nathan, Lawrence, they're in the crosshairs. Let's work on it. Let's get them gone. Yeah.
So then now we are at the final five, and you have already won 2 immunities, and you kind of have a big target on your back. And then we get to what I think was a fun little twist with the phone calls, and you decide to choose a lesser time. Was that a strategic move to help lower your threat level, or was there some other meaning behind it?
Well, I knew Leilani had been missing her son like crazy. He's younger than my kids as well, so I was thinking obviously he's going to be missing mum, maybe a lot more than mine. So I really did want us to spend that time, but I figured it wouldn't do me any harm. Let's put it that way. I figured, if I would leave the 15 for her, I'll take the other one, the next highest. And then I've covered my back. Hopefully, I'm now her bestest friend in the whole world ever. And I can kind of cover sort of what I need to kind of in the conversation. I didn't know who was going to be on the conversation, whether it's going to be my family altogether, because I've got 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a partner as well. It's like, well, I don't know who's going to be there, but I'm pretty sure I can go, right, this is what I'm doing. Blah, blah, blah. Right now, you tell me, you tell me, you tell me, you tell me. We're going to go along the line, as it were. Turns out it was my partner and my eldest, which was it was amazing. It actually had the reverse effect on me, I think, that they wanted it to have. Because my eldest, Stevie J, I love her to bits. We're very open, very honest about everything. We've got a really good relationship. So the first thing she tells me is she's crashed her car and written it off. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm in the middle of the jungle. You've crashed your car. Obviously, you're okay because you're here on the call. So I haven't got to ask you that question. So I get through the call. I'm walking away. And in my head, I'm going, I shouldn't be here. I should be at home helping my daughter sort out her problems. I should be at home with Annie, my partner, who's running my business. She's got her own business, running my business. And then that all starts going through my head. Why am I here? I should be with my family. My daughter's just written a car off. Thankfully, she's okay. It wasn't a road traffic accident. She actually hit a bollard and wrote the car off at the front. Yeah. She was parking. Yeah. Hit the wrong brake, the wrong automatic, and hit the wrong pedal. But anyway. But in my head, I'm going, I should not be here. So I walked away actually really unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
I came down off the initial kind of adrenaline of seeing them and going, wow, amazing. I love you guys to bits. And then it was just like, oh. Then after that, I don't think any of our confessionals got seen, but my confessional was I shouldn't be here. I should be at home with my family because they need me. It had a little bit of the reverse effects than I think they intended it to. As I walked away, they get you on camera and it's like, so how do you feel? It's like, well, I've been reminded why I'm here. And that's the bit you see on the show, but it was the after bit when I started thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of, was a bit of a downer for a while.
Yeah, I mean the physical side of survivor is obvious, but like the emotional side of being away from your family is also a huge part of being out there for that long.
Yeah,
and it's not just us either. It's the people back home as well. They really struggle. We know what's going on. We know how they live their lives. They've got no idea what's going on with us there. They get calls every now and then from production just saying like, yeah, they're okay. No, he's all good. He's still in. He's not coming home. And that's it. There's no details into that. Other than Annie, when she got a phone call, was told that I did save the life of one of the other contestants. So, but that was it. She kind of went, "Oh, that's what he does." So, yeah.
Well, do you want to talk about that? Of which contestant you have saved?
Chris.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Chris. So after the wrestle ball challenge, so obviously we won all the fishing gear. Chris decided to go spearfishing. So goes off the beach. Now, we were told don't go in the water before 7 a.m. because there was an official lifeguard to make sure that everyone's okay, which obviously health and safety got to be done. Makes sense. Chris went in beforehand. And if you look at the pull-out shots of Lenena, there's a big green channel down the middle. Well, that was the rip. Basically, all the water comes into the bay, it has to go back out, and it was going out in the middle of the bay. So Chris went in before the lifeguard started. I'm by the fire, where I was every morning, getting the fire going. So you've got the ocean, the beach slopes, and then there was a sandbank, and then down into camp where the fire was. I hear a shout, help. It's like, what the? Help! So I run up on the sandbank, and he must have seen me, and he was like, Peg, help! The crew were all on the water's edge. They didn't hear anything because of the breaking waves and the noise. The sound actually carried across the top and into camp. So I just went running, hit the ocean, and had to swim right out to the entrance of the bay. So it's like he was heading for the shipping lane, and he was stuck in the rip. He couldn't get back. By the time I got to him, he was completely shattered, and his eyes were like panic, wide open, rabbit in the headlights kind of situation. So yeah, basically I managed to get him to turn around. I calmed him down, got him to turn around and said to him, what you're going to do is you're going to swim slowly on every one of my strokes. I'm going to be behind you and I'm going to push a foot. So I pushed him in like that all the way to the shore and got him back in. Yeah. But yeah, if the crew hadn't seen him and I hadn't heard him, which obviously they didn't because they didn't hear it. But if I hadn't heard him and none of them had seen him, I dread to think what would have happened because it was a long way out and he was heading further out to sea. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank God you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, it's, I train for it. I am a qualified beach lifeguard. I'm a level 2 surf life-saving GB coach. It's what I do. And obviously surf and, I train and all the rest of it. So yeah, thankfully for him, there was someone on there that knew what to do because he'd gone in before the official lifeguard started. When afterwards, obviously we had a big meeting about not going in and all the rest of it. And we were told if anything like that happens again, you get a member of the crew and they'll go and get someone and get the lifeguard. And I kind of went, no. Yeah. As a lifeguard, it's similar to being a doctor. I've got a set of skills and you're under oath to use those skills to help someone. I'm not going to run off to get somebody with potentially someone's out there drowning. I hit the water, I go, that's it, So I was like, well, obviously, if you see someone you want to grab a lifeguard, that's up to you, but I'm off and swimming. But yeah, nothing after that happened, so it was all good. Yeah, that was a lesson learned. Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving into your last round of the game, so you end up getting voted out the final 5, 4-1, and you cast a vote for Matthew, and it's the only vote he receives against him all season. So what made you, was there any particular reason why you voted for Matthew on your way out?
Yes, but it wasn't against Matthew. So obviously I'm not going to vote for Hannah. There's no way. I wouldn't.
Right.
You see on the show when I'm talking to Chris, I tell him there's no way I'm going to put a vote on Hannah. I knew that I was going. on the build-up, before we went, each one of them individually came up to me and apologised and said, "Look, Peg, really sorry. You're too much of a threat. If you end up in that final 3, we know we're not going to win. So I'm going to put my vote on you." And they all did it individually. Hannah as well. She came up to me. So that tribal, most of it, when Joel's talking to me, is I know I'm going. They've all told me I'm going. I've come to terms with it. I'm at ease with it. I know I can't change their minds because I've already tried. If you watch the jury's reaction to it, they just kind of sit there and go, "Oh," because they knew it was coming because of the conversation beforehand. Yeah. And that whole time was basically me going, "Look, I know I'm going." They feel threatened. I was like, for me, I said this to Joel as well, like, for me, I've hit a personal goal because I've actually made last 5, which makes me the highest ranking amputee in survivor history.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. For me, that's a mass tick. I won 2 individual immunity challenges. I'm the only amputee to win individual immunity challenges. Actually, I'm going to correct myself on that. On the English-speaking ones. Brazil, the Amazonia one, there was a guy called Didi Machado, I think his name was, an amputee, and he actually won. Oh. So I'm going for the English-speaking because that dude, legend, he won Survivor Brazil as an amputee. Wow. Yeah. So respect to him. Yeah. And I'm happy to step back and go, the English-speaking nations. Yeah. But so individual immunities, I'm the only one that's won them. I'm the longest lasting as well. So I got a lot of personal ticks off of it. Yeah, sure. I wanted £100,000 in my pocket. I'd have been stoked. But, I feel like I gave the youngsters a run for their money. And they underestimated me at the beginning. And by the time we got about midway through, they kind of went, "Okay, here's a contender." And then by the end of it, they were like, "We're going to lose this." Not just because of the challenges. If I'd have got onto them punji sticks, I'd have been laughing. I got one leg, I'm not going to feel it. Just pull me weight through that one, I'd have won it. I'd have been out there like 3 days. But yeah, so not just from the challenges, I think my social game as well, which I was quite subtle on my social game. So the fishing gear wasn't working, it wasn't getting used. So what I did was I took one of the spikes out of the spearfisher and I made a branding iron. So what I did was I had a piece of bamboo and each day I was burning a line in it and doing a countdown of the days that I'd lasted. Like a calendar, which I made a point of mentioning this because I've actually got it here.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So
I've actually made
Awesome.
32 marks on it. So people saw me doing it and they go, "Oh, no way, that's really cool." I was like, "Well, yeah." And what I'm going to do now as well, there's no souvenir shops out here. So I started making gifts for my kids because it feels time, just gave me something to do. So I started showing everyone how to do it. And that was kind of a social game as well. It was kind of like just helping out, being there. And they go, "No, that's really cool. How'd you do it?" I was, "Oh, yeah, okay, well, I'll show you do this, I'll show you do that." And I think that kind of gave me that Mr. Nice Guy sort of feel, which obviously I want that going to carry me through as far as I get. But by the end of it, even Alani said it, she's like, "You're the victim of your own success." Because we know if we're going to be in that final 3 with you, we're not going to get it.
Right.
We've all got, we haven't kind of really gotten it. So, yeah, I knew that was coming. Yeah. Like I said, before we got to tribal. Yeah.
Yeah, was the vote for Matthew like out of respect for his game or?
The vote for Matthew was purely because I wasn't going to vote for Hannah and I didn't want to put it on Lalani. Yeah, it was nothing personal against Matthew.
Right, for sure.
We'd got on great, we'd got on fine. And that's why when you see me lift it up, I kind of go, "Duh," like that. I knew I was going and it's like, "Matthew, I'm voting for you because I'm not going to put it on the girls." Yeah.
So then you go into final tribal council where you get to decide who's going to win the game. You vote for Matthew in that final tribal council. What were you looking for from those arguments at the end?
I was looking for honesty, and obviously looking for people to claim stuff, you know, kind of like, why do you deserve to be here? You know, why? You know, what have you done? I went in with an open mind. No, I didn't walk in there going, I'm going to vote for Matthew. I was open to all three of them to kind of, you know, put their case and say why. Lalani's, I felt, was just really weak. And it was just like, you know, yeah, you've been a go. You have just followed. And, you know, when she went, well, I put pride in myself for having these two sat here because that's what I wanted. It's kind of like, no, you've just ended up there with them two. That's, you know, you're clutching at straws. Obviously, Matthew got a bit of a roasting. And when he took credit for the Tanuka and the Nathan votes, so obviously I'm sat there, I've got Hannah next to me, Tanuka and Nathan are there. We'd been back at the villa and we've all been chatting, and they knew that it was me and Hannah that had kind of put the votes on them and how we'd worked it. So me and Hannah were sat there when he said that, shaking our heads, going, no way. I looked at Sue and we're going, that was us. And she went, yeah, I know. That's like, you know, you're putting stuff in that's not true. Then Doug asked him about if he got in Matthew's head. And he's like, oh, Matthew's his own guy, you know, he does what he wants. It's like, well, you've said you've done one thing and now you're saying like you haven't done it. You can't even own what you've said that you've done. Mm-hmm. It's like, I can't put my vote there. And then Matthew kind of goes, well, this is what I've done. I've done this. I've been here. I've done that. Got involved with this. I got involved with that one. I flipped here. I was involved in Snooker going, blah, blah, blah. He didn't claim it during tribal council. He didn't claim the Tanuka vote. Like I was involved in that. And I'm kind of going, yeah, everything he said, he did. And he was playing it from the start. And he smashed it. I turned around, looked at Lee, and Lee went, yeah. I was like, yeah, you know, Matthew's got this for me. You know, and Lee's face said exactly the same thing. It's like, yeah, Matthew's got this. Yeah. And there was whispers going around between all of us, like, Matthew, yeah. We knew, well, I knew in the back of my head, I knew Tanuka would give Lalani a vote. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it wasn't a whitewash, yeah. And obviously Ashley was going to vote with Chris. You know, we knew that was going to happen. But yeah, the majority, like, yeah, Matthew's absolutely smashed this. You know, as the youngest guy, well, was just like, yeah, total respect. You nailed it, mate. And this, having watched Matthew's one of these interviews, I'm going to like to put straight. I'd like to put this straight. This is the fire starter. This is the fire starter from the Lanena tribe. Okay. So I didn't take it maliciously. There's actually two stories to this thing. So the first one is when we did the tribe swap, I had Lanena's fire starter in my bag because it kept getting left on the sand and buried, and it was getting lost, and we couldn't find it. Mm-hmm. So I told Doug that I had it in my bag. So I wasn't saying to go, if you need it, I've got it, we're going to lose it. And they're like, yeah, right, cool, makes sense. Me and Doug then bugger off to the other tribe. And I was kind of like the Lanena Fire King and kept it going. They came out to the next challenge and forgot about the fire. They went back and it had gone out. They didn't have this. So everyone was like, oh, Peg's taking it on purpose. Lee said Peg's got it in his bag. Oh, he's taking it on purpose. No, he didn't. He told me and Doug that he had it. It was for safekeeping. So he was fighting my case, even though I was there. They turn up to the next challenge. This all comes out. And they were like, can we have it back? So, well, it's in your bag. So like, well, tell you what, you've got 2 saws. I will swap you that for a saw. Give me one of your saws. So we've got one because I need to work on the bed over the other side. Mm-hmm. And they were like, yeah, right. Yeah, we'll bring the saws to the next challenge. So I was like, okay, right, fine. So I got to my bag, get it out, give it back to them. I'm like, don't forget that saw. Yeah, right. Okay, cool. Yeah. They turn up to the next challenge, no saw. I'm like, so where's my saw? You know, I'm building the bed again. Come on, what's going on? And Lee's like, I put it in my bag, but when I got it was gone. He's like, I put it in my bag. He's like, maybe production took it out for health and safety or something. I don't know, but it was in my bag. But apparently, Chris took it out.
Oh.
Turns out, after the story came out, Chris took it out of his bag. He said that it was up against him and it was really uncomfortable, so he took it out and forgot to put it back in. So whether it was actually a sabotage on Chris's part, so we didn't get a saw or not, I don't know. But straight after that, merge happened anyway, so it was all good. But yeah, so, and then at the end, I piled up a load of wood next to the fire before I left. And I knew I was going, and I wanted this as a souvenir. Because myself and Sabrina lit that fire in Lanena with this on that first day. The only time that fire went out was when I wasn't there. And I went, we got that going with that. Me and Sabs, I'm having it. So I made sure I had a load of wood there, and I put that in my bag because I knew I was going. Yeah, so it wasn't done maliciously for them to go hungry. I just wanted to straighten that out.
Yeah,
That's
no, I
awesome.
mean, it's great to have a souvenir. Everybody wants to take something from their experience. So,
Yeah, I've got a few. Yeah, I've got one that the other tribe members are really jealous of. So obviously we all got a bus, you know. So we walked. You know, I've got all 3 tribe colours, but I managed to also get, which they didn't get, was one of those ones.
oh,
Managed to get
awesome.
on the crew one as well.
wow.
Well,
yeah.
to
So
be
the-
fair, you did save Chris's life, so you were part of the crew that day.
There you go. Yeah, I was on that day. Yeah, I was part of the crew. Yeah.
Yeah, they owed you that much.
But yeah,
So-
we all walked around loads of bits and pieces, and so it was my birthday when I was out there as well. So Doug went diving and got me a really nice shell and gave me that for my birthday present. We won tribe immunity on my birthday as well, which I was stoked with. Yeah, I was amazed we did because it was a balance beam. So it was the immunity one where you had to stack the blocks up. That was my birthday. Yeah, so that was a great birthday present. That was.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about that challenge when you mentioned the When It Rains challenge with the short standing platform, and then that balance one where you did with the blocks. Like, you did amazing on that. It was like a really incredible performance.
Yeah, it was hard work. What I realised, because obviously it goes on longer than you see on the edit, but I was going too slow. Speed was my friend. So by the time you see me actually get it at the end, I'm virtually running along the beam. If I was going too slow, that's when I was losing my balance. So basically, I was looking at that beam as if it was a massive surfboard. It was a longboard, and I was walking up to the nose of it. And that's what I was looking at. It was like, right, just get up to the nose as fast as you can, put your block on and come back. And yeah, speed was my friend. And if you watch each attempt on the show, you'll see I changed my techniques slightly each time until I got it. So yeah, and like I say, on my birthday as well, when I was stoked with that. Yeah, really, really happy.
So we have a few questions that we like to round things out with. You say you're a limited Survivor fan. You've seen some seasons. So of the seasons you've seen, who would you be on your Mount Rushmore of Survivor? Best physical player, best social player, best strategic player, and an all-rounder.
Right. Best physical player, I've got to go Ross Clark-Jones. Champions versus contenders. Big wave surfer as well. So I've got to go Ross Clark-Jones, you know. And, you know, he's a strong guy. And yeah, so yeah, physical, it's got to be him.
I love that he got a mention. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Ross absolutely smashed it. Yeah. Such a shame that obviously it ended the way it did. But yeah, when, you know, kind of flicking through seasons and that come up, and I was like, that's Ross Clark-Jones. No way. So yeah, so Ross is like, wow, oh my God. I sort of sent him a message as well, sort of, you know, Instagram message going, no way, just, you know, I've been accepted for Survivor UK, and not that he knew it, but I have actually been in the water at the same time surfing big waves with him down in Portugal, a place called Nazaré. Yeah. He was out toe surfing, and yeah, I'm a paddle surfer. I've never toe surfed, but yeah, we was in the water at the same time. Yeah, like he's got no bloody idea who I am, but I know who he is. So yeah. So yeah, Ross Clark Jones for sure. I mean, you got to give King George a mention. Is just all rounder. I love him. Mate, I was at a contest in Australia last year, and sort of, I was in Sydney, and yeah, me and George met up and had lunch as well. So yeah, that was really cool. So yeah, love watching him on the show as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Luke, social, and Luke Toki, so social wise and just as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what year it was he did. 2019? Did he come
2019,
back?
Yeah, 2017 and 2019.
Yeah, quite sick.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, but yeah, you can't not love Luke, can you? Everybody does.
Yeah.
Personal hero for me, Tarzan.
Yeah.
I can't.
He's good, dude.
I just loved his outlook, the way he went in there, and he was just himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he put that in the game, and he was all about everybody else, but held his own, physically. The guy is so strong, and just watching him going against, he was a big inspiration for me, sort of watching that, knowing I was going in, and or maybe going in, and he just like, wow, I'd love to come out like that. And a few people kind of have compared me. It's kind of I think we're same generation pretty much, just as being myself while I was in there.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a few mentions of if it was a people's vote, you'd have walked away with it. So that's quite nice to hear. Unfortunately, it wasn't a people's vote, but I didn't walk away with 100,000. So yeah, I'm the guy in my head. I'm the guy that would have won the people's vote. So I'm happy to take that. Yeah. I'd like to give Charlotte Hober a mention as well. Don't know if any of you know her.
No.
I think I do.
She won Survivor UK the first season in 2000.
Oh.
Call ourselves super fans.
Yeah. Come on, Michael. You're in the UK.
So yeah, I just wanted to give her a mention. She's the first Survivor UK winner ever. So I just thought I'd give her a mention. Yeah.
Nice.
And then for one of my final two questions, if you could pick 1 to 3 words to describe your own Survivor legacy, what would those 1 to 3 words be?
Oh, legacy. 1 to 3 words. Old guys rule.
It's true. It's true. And then my favorite question to ask every Survivor is, when you close your eyes and you think back to your time on Survivor, what image do you see?
Now, everybody that I've seen, everybody, the 3 guys have all mentioned about the stars, and yeah, that is a picture in my head, because it's like being inside a snow globe and looking up. It is phenomenal, laying on that beach and watching everything. But for me, so I was the guy that was up in the night, keeping the fire going. When it was raining, it was like 5 or 6 times a night. If you rewatch the series, the last couple of episodes, there's actually a big kind of cover that comes up over the top of the fire. I built that one night because it was chucking it down with rain. But for me, that picture in my head is getting up, getting that fire going at like 3 o'clock in the morning, no one else around, sat there on my own, thinking about what I'm going to do, how I want to play my game, and looking into that fire and just watching it dancing. The sound of the jungle around you and just watching that fire dancing. That's the picture that I get in my head. Yeah.
That's an amazing picture to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And it will stay with me, forever. Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, last question for you. If people want to follow you on social media, where can they follow you at?
Okay, so Instagram, Pegleg. Also on Instagram and Facebook, it's Peg Surf Coaching. Loads of stuff goes up on that as well. That's my business one. Pegleg Bennett as well on Facebook. I don't do X or anything like that. I'm too old for that and got too much going on. But I have trouble keeping up with Facebook and Instagram, let alone putting anything else in them. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Well, this has been great, Pegleg. Thank you so much for coming on
Thank
the
you.
Tribe of Nerds.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Talking to you guys. Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, of course. Well, we'll see you all for the next installment on the Tribe of Nerds.